Hate to disappoint you. I know that you guys kind of like it when I have stuff to criticize, and I don't have anything to complain about. So watch this video get 3 views because nobody wants to see somebody be happy with what they got, but I am. Hi guys, it's Cynthia the Fishing Mommy, and I am back with another tackle box unboxing. This time I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to compare 2 boxes that I received on the same day. So those 2 boxes are the mystery tackle box that I received for December and Bass Baits Monthly that I received for December. So these are the 2 boxes. I'm going to compare them. I'm going to take one bait at a time out and compare them against one another. First up, let's grab one out of Bass Baits Monthly. First thing that I pulled out of the box is a Flash and Vibe from Hardcore Lures. And this is a lipless crankbait. Really nice looking sexy shad type paint job. There you go. You can see that paint job. What's it called? It's called Citrus Shad. And this is a long range casting. It's meant to be a heavy sinking crankbait. And so the idea is that it's going to get down deeper and make a lot of vibration in the into the cold winter weather. So when those fish are holding deep, this is supposed to be the lure that you want to throw. I'm trying to get it out of the packaging here, but it's sort of really in there. Oh, okay, I see why. Wow, that is actually quite heavy, even in your hand. That really weighs a lot. It feels like well over ½ an ounce, 3/4 of an ounce. It's very, very heavy. And that is what the bait looks like. There's the top. Here's the belly. Look at that. It's even marked on the top with what it is. I'm already impressed with this box just based on this one bait. This is from Hardcore Lures. And honestly, that's a company I haven't really heard much of, but I mean, if this is any indication, then please send me all the Hardcore lures you have, because this is a great, great bait. There we go. So that is the first thing I pulled out of Bass Baits Monthly. Now let's see what we have in our mystery tackle box. There's no lipless in the mystery tackle box, but there is a Gambit swing bait from Lunker Hunt, and this is pretty cool too. This is 5/8 of an ounce. So another deep diving, heavier weight lure. Here, you can take a look at what this bait looks like. Super realistic, as a lot of the Lunker Hunt things are. Let me see if you can see it better like that. Wow, that really looks realistic. 5/8 of an ounce and 4.5 inches long. It's weedless, it's pre-rigged, and it's extremely realistic. Now, the hook is like a frog, right? So the hook is there, and when the fish bites the bait, it's going to expose that hook. This is great. I am very impressed with this. So it's going to be used in a sort of a similar way to that lipless that was in the BBM box. And so this is the first thing in my mystery tackle box this month, and I have to say I'm very impressed with that too. If I have to compare these 2 lures, I would say that this one, the lipless, is probably best for bass, honestly, at least in my water. It's a little bit heavier, it's going to throw a little bit further, but this is probably going to be phenomenal in brackish and or salty water where I live. So I would say these are both sort of A-rated baits for me. This one is maybe better for bass. This one is probably better for salt or brackish water where I live, but both great baits. Next thing up in the BBM box is a Berkeley Fusion, and this is a crankbait. And again, it's a pretty deep diver. It's a Dredger 10.5, and it's got this dredger lip on it, as you can see. So it's meant to really get down there deep at the bottom. This is going to dive from 9 to about 11.5 feet, according to the packaging. I guess that's why it's called a 10.5. They're splitting the difference. And it weighs ½ an ounce, and it has a rattle in it. Nice deep water bait, probably gonna catch bass. And the color name is called Old Blue. So this is pretty good. I would say I'm not quite as excited as I am about the lipless, but that's just sort of a preference that I have as far as my style of fishing. So my mystery tackle box has actually fewer hard baits. So the closest thing that I could find in the MTB for this month that is a corollary to that diving crank would be this Googan Squad Zinger, which is obviously a spinner bait. Oh, hopefully you can see that. I don't know if you can. But there you go. You've probably all seen this before. Some things I like about the Googan Squad Zinger spinner baits are that they have both a willow and a Colorado blade on them. This particular one has silver blades, and it's a sexy shad pattern as well. So blue, white, and a little bit of yellow. There you go. Very nice colorway. It's bright, it's clean, it's realistic looking. I like the fact that Googan Squad baits come with this little rubber band here where you tie your line so that your line isn't sliding around. That's a very thoughtful detail. Like the Googan Squad eyes on the head. It's a nice head shape. This is a great bait. I'm a big spinnerbait enthusiast in cold water. That's actually one of the earliest videos I ever did on my channel, as a matter of fact. So I will definitely throw this bait. I feel like, honestly, I'll probably throw it more often than I will that diving crankbait, the Berkeley. So I'm going to give the edge on this one to the mystery tackle box simply because of the way that I fish. I personally think I will throw this bait more often than I'll throw this bait. Next up in Bass Baits Monthly is this. It's a Keyburn half-ounce blade bait. If you've watched any of my other unboxing videos, you probably know that I don't throw a lot of blade baits. I have a few, but I don't know why, I just always forget to throw them, but this thing looks nasty. It looks awesome. Look at that. That thing is cool. That thing is so cool. Check it out. For some reason, this blade bait looks a lot more realistic to me than most of them, and I really, really like the looks of this. Check that thing out. That's sweet. I love that. That's a half-ounce blade bait. Now, you guys, tell me what the deal is here. Am I supposed to use a split ring here? It's got a clip, and I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to tie to that. It doesn't seem like that's an ideal line tie. Am I supposed to tie to a split ring, or what am I supposed to do with this? I don't really know. Also, by the way, one thing that is kind of weird about this is these aren't treble hooks. They're double hooks. And I can honestly say I've never thrown a lure with double hooks like that before. Just not something I'm really familiar with. I guess I kind of get into the same patterns over and over again. And that's one of the reasons I like these tackle boxes, is that they introduce me to things that I am not familiar with. This is definitely one of those things that I'm not familiar with. I'm definitely going to give this a try very soon. Very curious about it. And I just have this feeling that this little guy is going to work. So I'm kind of excited to throw this thing. Now let's see what's in the mystery tackle box that might be similar to this. Okay, well, the answer is kind of nothing, because there's only one more hard bait in the MTB box, and that is this Strike Pro tournament grade jerk bait. This is called a Beakster 90. So it's a 90 millimeter floating 4.5 to 6 foot diver, and it's 5/16 of an ounce. And it's got this really interesting beak on it. Let me open this up and show you. Check out that lip. That's pretty weird. I mean, it's cool. I'm not sure what it's going to do in the water. Is this going to kind of give it a wide wobble or a tight wobble? It seems like it would give it a really wide movement in the water. I'm not sure what to make of this one. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments section what you guys think of this with this kind of weird little beak lip. I'm very curious. I like the color. It's got a nice realistic eye. The weight in it is not moving, so I don't think it's a rattler. No, it's almost silent. I am gonna say, when I compare the Beakster 90 to the other unfamiliar lure, which was this blade bait, the Keyburn, I'm gonna give the edge in terms of confidence to this guy right here, the blade bait, just based on what I know of my waters and the way I fish. That's not to say I'm not going to throw this. I am. I'm really interested to see what it does, but I'm definitely more confident in the blade bait. Okay, we're about midway through the boxes right now, and what we have left in the mystery tackle box is 3 soft plastics and 1 piece of terminal tackle. What we have left in the BBM box is actually 2 soft plastics and 2 pieces of terminal tackle, sort of. So when I say sort of, here's why I say that. The first thing is a 3/8 ounce jig from Champion Jigs. So I'm counting this as terminal tackle just because it's not a soft plastic and it's not a hard lure, it's a jig. So, all right, I'm gonna call that terminal tackle. This is a really pretty, it's got a ball head jig in a beautiful blue color. Got a very nice sort of bluegill colored skirt that's very full. It's clearly hand tied. Strong hook. That's a heck of a hook. Nice keeper on there. This is a beautifully made jig. This is great looking. I am impressed with this jig, and I like to throw jigs, so I think I'll definitely throw this. And so that's pretty cool. Now, in the MTB box, the only piece of hardware that I still have left is this, and it is Guggen Baits Guggen Squad hooks. There's a 3/0 hook and a 4/0 hook. It's just a 2-pack of their hammer hooks. Now, these things are like made out of wrought iron. They're super ultra heavy duty hooks. They're awesome for catching big fish. When you hook a fish on this hook, it is not going anywhere. These are great hooks. Now, would I have liked to have more than 2 in a pack? Yeah, I kind of feel like they could have given us 2 3/0s and 2 4/0s and still had the same margins on the box for all intents and purposes, but I'm not super mad about it. I'm gonna throw both of these things. I'm certainly gonna throw this jig. I'm certainly gonna throw these hooks. So I would say these are a tie as well. They're pretty great. Now, on to what's next in the BBM box, and is another really cool thing. It is a finesse Ned jig. Awesome. Shrooms Micro Finesse Jig. So I'm going to open this up and show it to you guys because I really like these. This is one of my favorite kinds of jigs. Little tiny guy. Look at that. Look at that. I'm just sticking my hand here like a cosmetics person for no good reason. I don't know why I did that. But this is a Z-Man Shrooms Finesse Jig, a fine wire hook, and of course that flat Ned head, so it's going to sit on the bottom and do this. Beautiful colorway. It's a bluegill colorway. I know I'll catch fish with this. It's a 2-pack of these little Shrooms Finesse jigs, which I consider a Ned head jig. And to go with those, actually, I'm gonna come back to the MTB in a second, but I want to show you that they also sent me Z-Man TRD ticklers. Stand up like that on the bottom. And they are green. What are this? Green, what's the colorway? Hot Snakes. Oh, yeah. So Hot Snakes color, and that will sit right on that little jig and wave around on the bottom like this. I'm thrilled with these 2 items together. I think that I'll definitely catch fish on those. So let's see what we have in the MTB box to go sort of similar function. Closest corollary that I think there is in this box is actually these Cabin Creek Bait Company little craws. And there's not really any information on the package at all, but these are really small profile craw baits. They're probably about 4 inches total, maybe. They might be 3.5 inches. They're really small, but I could kind of see putting this on a Ned head. I mean, they're not that, they don't have buoyant claws, so I definitely prefer the TRD craws. But this actually I could see as either a jig trailer on one of those small jigs or on one of the actual Shrooms jig heads. This is a nice little craw. I like the fact that it's so tiny, and here, maybe you can get a better look at it like this. It is a really very small profile, which is something that you kind of like to have in the wintertime. No, it's very cold here. We've been down in the 30s and 20s. We've gotten some snow and then it warms back up, and we've had a very strange winter so far, but the fish are very deep. So fishing deep is the order of the day. So these little small craws are probably going to do very well. These robo worms, and they are finesse worms. That's weird. They're like stuck together. And then when you pull them apart, they've got like a strange texture on them, almost like salt has settled on the bottom as they were being molded. Can you see that? That's weird. There's 3 of them that were like that. Let me look at the rest of them. It is a full pack. Yeah, they're all like that. They're like salty and sort of rough on the bottom. And they were sort of stuck together. Huh. I mean, maybe that's supposed to be how they are. They're a 3-inch Ned worm is what the package says. Color is called Aaron's Green Pumpkin. And there's a lot of salt there on the bottom. And then they are intended to be a Ned bait. So I'm just trying to see how they'll stand up. I mean, maybe, you know, I mean, maybe they don't stand up as much as I would really like them to. But it's a pretty solid bait, and I like soft plastics. So these robo worms are, oh, it's a salt release system. Okay, so maybe that's the deal. So as I'm looking more at the packaging, it says there's a salt release system that is trademarked by RoboWorm. And so maybe that's why the bottom of these is very rough feeling and salty. Maybe they pack a lot of salt down into the bottom, and then as it's in the water, it sort of, you know, floats out. I think these are great. I would prefer if they were a little more buoyant for use with a Ned rig, just like I said about the little craws earlier. But that's a pretty good bait. There are 2 more things in my MTB. The first one, oh, you know what? I thought this was just a soft plastic. I thought these were just these little paddle tails, but they're not. There's jig heads in there. Let's take a look at these. These are called the Sneak Attack Soft Swim Jig. Oh, wow. Check this out. This is cool. There's 2 jig heads in here. There's a pre-rigged one. Look at that. That looks sweet. Okay, so this is actually going to function very much like a Ned rig, but with a paddle tail, like a bait fish imitation instead. Wow, this thing is cool. And you know what? In saltwater, this would catch some flounder too. I gotta tell you, this is awesome. Wow, I have to apologize to MTB. I really thought there were only plastics left in here, and so I was wrong about that. Sneak Attack from Dynamic Soft Swim Jig. Check it out, 2 jig heads and 4 of these little paddle tail bodies. This is awesome. Small soft swim bait designed for multi-species. Swim it, crawl it, or bounce it. I really, really like this. This is awesome. I think this is a great corollary actually to the Ned heads here, but honestly, probably even more versatile. Just like it says on the package, you can do a little bit more with it. That's a very, very cool find. I'm excited about this one. And then the last thing in the MTB box is X-Zone 4-inch swimmer, which is what they're called. 4-inch paddle tails. And there are 6 in here, so it's a full package. I'm trying to get this open for you. Woo! It smells a lot like the Strike King scent. This is an interesting mold because they're flat on the bottom, completely flat on the bottom. They're not round like Kitex, but they have this nice ribbing and then the big paddle tail. This is a great profile. I think this is actually really interesting. This is going to swim a little bit differently than a normal Kitech or other round-bodied swim bait. This is from X-Zone Lures, the 4-inch swimmer, and that is a full package, 6-pack. I'm going to have to give the edge to the swim bait because I feel like I can do a little bit more with it. I feel like I could swim this fast. I feel like I could swim it slow. I can swim it on the bottom, or I can run it through the middle of the water column, and I feel like it's just a little bit more versatile. That's not to say that the RoboWorm isn't going to get bites. I'm sure it is. I don't know. These are almost tied. I'm just going to give a slight edge to the swim bait. So that is all of the contents, all of the lures anyway, in these 2 boxes, MTB Pro and Bass Baits Monthly. I have to say, these are 2 really excellent boxes. I'm very happy with everything in them, and I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to catch fish on just about everything in these 2 boxes too. So I feel like I really got my money's worth. Honestly, I think both of these were really great boxes. I hate to disappoint you. I know that you guys kind of like it when I have stuff to criticize, but really there's just not a lot of negative stuff I have to say about these boxes. They are seasonally appropriate. They're full packs of stuff, except for that 2-pack of Guggen hooks. They're great colors. It doesn't feel like it's leftover stock that nobody wanted to buy. All in all, I think these were both very high quality boxes. I like them. I think I'm gonna definitely catch fish with just about everything in both boxes. And I don't have anything to complain about. So watch this video get 3 views because nobody wants to see somebody be happy with what they got, but I am. That's going to do it for me, you guys. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes as I went through this mystery tackle box and Bass Baits Monthly box and checked out what was in the contents of these 2 boxes. If you have commentary or if you have any questions, you'd like to know more, drop me a comment down below. And if you're one of the about 60% of watchers who is not subscribed to our channel, go ahead and just take a quick second, hit that subscribe button. It really means a lot to small creators like myself when you support us by subscribing. I really, really appreciate it. My kids really love to ask me all the time, hey, how many subscribers do we have, Mom? So, you know, hit that subscribe button, put a smile on a 12-year-old's face for the holiday season. And thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with me. We will catch you later.